What's up, guys? I'm Justin.
And I'm Nick.
And we're Fantasy Football in the Zone. And week 2 is almost in the books. We just have the Monday night game today, and that should be a high-scoring game. And I'll start in sits. I said I really loved every one of the Colts and Eagles this game. Luck, I think, could possibly finish top 3 in quarterbacks this week. Foles has a great matchup. Everyone I really like in this game.
Yeah.
Give me a sleeper.
A sleeper? He might not necessarily be a sleeper. Some of you might have picked him up after his last week performance. But if you had a tight end like Jordan Cameron or Jordan Reed, I like Dwayne Allen this week, and I like him in the future. I think Luck really likes him a lot, and I think week in and week out he's going to be a solid 10-12 points.
Okay, now that we gave tonight's game a little preview, let's go on to a recap of all the games. We already did on our starts and sits Friday. Ravens defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 26-6. I can't really even talk today. The Bills defeated the Dolphins 29-10. Bills are 2-0, looking sharp, and C.J. Spiller unfortunately did a kick return, which really doesn't affect too many C.J. Spiller owners. In most leagues, you don't get points for that. But he had 69 yards and a touchdown. But notably, Nosha Marino went down, and he didn't come back in the game. And that was serious. All these injuries. A.J. Green got injured. RG3. Nosha Marino, Deshaun Jackson. A lot of guys got injured this game. Mark Ingram, a lot of guys. And Jaguars lost to the Redskins. The Redskins beat the Jaguars, I should say, 41-10 was the final score. Griffin went down, but didn't look good. His other
and Jacksonville's top rusher was Chad Henne, their quarterback, with 17 yards. Gerhardt did nothing. I wouldn't be playing him next week.
Alfred Morris had a great day. I said that in my starts and sits. I loved him. Deshaun Jackson left the game, we said, but
and Garcon was quiet.
The tight end, Paul, 99 yards, a touchdown, had a great game. If you're in a PPR league, he had over 20 points. Monstrous game from him. Toby Gerhardt, I'm going to give him one more chance because he has a good matchup in week 3. This is my last chance, and it's not even his fault because the line really can't protect. They can't convert on third downs, and, if you can't move the ball, you're going to get less and less carries. I mean, they can't even convert on third down. They are really bad on third down. They can't really move the ball. So if you can't move the ball in the passing game, you're running exactly.
Yeah, and let's move on to the next game. The Cowboys defeated the Tennessee Titans 26-10, and one big guy this week was Dez Bryant, and everybody started him. He had 1 touchdown, 103 yards, and the guy that I really liked and I started in one of my leagues, Jordan Reed, was Delaney Walker. He gave me an unexpectedly 20 points in standard scoring. He had 142 yards, a touchdown, and for a tight end, I think that's a
solid week. More than solid week.
And the next guy I want to talk about is Sean Green. They were the top rusher with 40 yards. And I just want to speak about Bishop Sankey. He hasn't really been doing anything, and some people might have drafted him like the 5th, 6th round.
I think he has more value in the keeper league because right now Green's ahead of him on the depth chart, but I definitely think Sankey eventually steals his job from Green. Definitely think he has more value. Jake Locker, 234 yards and a touchdown. Another decent performance by him. He had over 20 points in week 1. If you're in a 2-quarterback league and he's on the free agency, which he shouldn't be by now, I'd go pick him up. Cardinals defeated the Giants 25-14. Another tight end, Donald for the Giants, 81 yards. It's a solid week. He had double-digit points if you're in a PPR league. Andre Ellington, 91 yards. And Eli Manning, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. Don't really see much value from this guy. But Drew Stanton, not really in a fantasy perspective, but he had a pretty good week for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Stanton led the Cardinals to a win. And once again, Fitz and Floyd don't really do anything. Floyd got me 2-3 points in one of my standard scoring leagues, and Fitz only had 51 yards and no touchdowns. Next game, the Patriots defeated the Vikings for their first win of the season, 37. And Brady kind of bounced back, and not really from a fantasy perspective. He only had 150 yards and a touchdown, but in terms of real life, he bounced back.
Castle kind of had a better game than him in fantasy. He had 202 yards and a touchdown. And
Tom Brady,
I don't even know if he's a top 10 quarterback. I thought he was gonna in fantasy wise, of course.
Yeah,
I don't
20,
think
30 points
I don't
this
think
game.
no, not even. He had under 15 in one
Well,
of
I
my
was saying
leagues.
I think he was going to get
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it was
but
a good matchup.
not a great week. And Stephen Ridley, he had a good week, and a lot of people were saying he would get cut in the offseason. It didn't happen. 101 yards here and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Asiata,
good game.
36 yards. Didn't have a great rushing day, but caught a passing touchdown.
Yeah.
Gave him
in my PPR league, yeah, he put up 19 points. And the second last guy I'd like to speak about is Julian Edelman.
PPR machine.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game, 81 yards and a touchdown.
And last year, a lot of people thought Danny Amendola would kind of fill in that Walker spot, but Edelman definitely did that. And a late headline is Adrian Peterson is more than likely to play for week 3.
He got
Matt Asiata doesn't have as much value as he did this week.
And the next game was an upset. The Saints got beat by the Browns 26-24. That was a shocker. And one guy who had a pretty good game was Tyrone West. He had 68 yards and a touchdown. That's about like 15 points in standard scoring.
In the offseason, we really liked this guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ben Tate. I hate to say it, but he gets injuries a lot, and I thought Terrence West would eventually get his chance to shine, and it happened to be week 1. Had a great week 1. They announced him the starter for week 2. Put up a great showing. Mark Ingram, another good showing by him, but he happened to get hurt. One of those guys, not AJ Green, but I meant Andrew Hawkins, 70 yards and 0 touchdowns. If he's on your waiver wire, I think he could be a nice bench guy.
I think he's a pretty good
nice
pickup for the future. Yeah, he's basically the Browns' main
Moving
target.
on, the Bengals defeated the Falcons 24-10, and now we talk about AJ Green. AJ Green put up a nice 0 points. He left the game with turf toe. It happens to be he should come back week 5 just because they have a bye week 4, and he's more than likely to miss week 3. So that's not too great. But Matt Ryan, 231 yards and 1 touchdown, not as good as he did last week. Last week he finished like top scoring for quarterbacks. And moving on, Nick, Panthers Lions.
Yeah, Panthers for their second win of the year defeated the Lions 24-7. One guy I liked in this game was because D'Angelo Williams didn't play. I saw people picking up Jonathan Stewart. He produced. He got like 12, 15 points, which was a solid flex play. And although Cam was not supposed to be limited, he did have a pretty good game with about 19 points.
And Stafford really, once again, great week last week.
Yeah,
he's
a high
end one. Expectations. He really didn't have as great of a week last year.
In the future.
And of course, he's a high end one. But Calvin Johnson, 83 yards, 0 touchdowns. Not a worse week, but for your first rounder, you expect a little bit more from that.
Standard, that's only 8 points.
Of course, he's a wide receiver 1, top receiver in the league. That's just one bad game. He'll perform for you next week. The Tampa Bay Bucks. Another upset. St. Louis Rams defeated the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Austin Davis, 235 yards, 0 touchdowns. Don't really see much value from Davis or McCown.
Don't pick him up.
Zach Stacy, 71 yards, 1 touchdown, and he kind of once again got the bulk over Benny Cunningham. And I still think Stacy's the main guy here. Bobby Rainey filled in for Doug Martin, had a great game, 144 yards, 0 touchdowns. Brian Quick, 74 yards. Really, do you think Quick has much value?
I don't think Quick has a lot of value. The guy I'm looking at is Bobby Rainey. If he's on the waiver wire, pick him up. Or a Doug Martin handcuff because
they're playing Thursday night.
Yeah, and Rainey had 20 points. I definitely think he could be a running back to a flex play with all of Martin's injuries.
Next game, the Chargers defeated the Seahawks. Yeah, the Chargers beat the Broncos last year with Peyton Manning, and Seahawks destroyed the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Seahawks beat the Packers by 20, and now the Chargers upset them, and they're going into Buffalo next week. But Percy Harvin, 45 yards, touchdown, solid week from him. Rivers had a great week. And how about Antonio Gates? We always talk about him falling off the cliff a little bit, and Darius Green coming up and stealing the show. But not this week against a really tough week.
30 and
3 touchdowns, and we kind of said sit all your Chargers, but We were
We were
wrong.
dead wrong.
Look at all these Chargers. They all had a great matchup. I don't know what happened. Texans defeated the Raiders 30-14.
A blowout.
Foster had a great week. He had a lot of carries against the Raiders, and he plays great when he's healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy. He gets a lot of carries. Hopefully the wear and tear doesn't catch up to him.
And I like James Jones. 2 good weeks back to back. I'm not saying go put your number 1 claim on him, but I think he's a pretty good receiver. I think you should pick him up. And then, next game, Packers defeated the Jets 31-24 as expected.
Jordy Nelson had a great game.
Yeah.
I think he had a career high in yards. He had 209 yards, 1 touchdown.
That's
Cobb
amazing.
also had a few touchdowns in that game. And Rodgers once again performed for you. Didn't really have a great week in week 1, but he's always an elite. Peyton Manning defeated the Chiefs, and Peyton Manning, the Broncos defeated the Chiefs 24-17. Sanders 108 yards.
Ball didn't do much.
I think he had 9 targets. Sanders. Travis Kelce had a nice week. Now Davis 2 touchdowns. A lot of fantasy value in this game.
I like Davis. Maybe you should pick him up if you need a running back. And the last game, the Sunday night game,
another upset, 28-20.
Bears defeated the 49ers.
Marshall or Jeffrey really weren't supposed to play in this game.
But Marshall 3 touchdowns
TDs. And only 48 yards. I mean, he got into the end zone. Jeffrey, he really didn't do well in this game, but they weren't supposed to play, so hopefully he didn't really start these guys except Marshall.
I was going up against Marshall and Gates, and that was 60 points, and so that was
the Bears made a great comeback in this game, but
and the top rusher in that game was actually Jay Cutler, not Matt Forte with 25 yards.
But that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank
Please drop a like,
tweet us at
leave a comment,
FfInTheZone,
and subscribe for more.
Thank you.